foundation. In good we trust.
Good day, my dear friends. Lately, I've been receiving a lot of questions about what's happening in the global economy, what my views are on the current situation, and how I, as an investor, analyze the landscape and make forecasts for the next 30, 50 years. I've compiled and organized all these questions and based on them, prepared this lecture for your attention. I hope you find it interesting and that it will be helpful both for making strategic decisions and for navigating the short-term outlook. Along with this video presentation, I'm including the full text in Russian as well as additional materials for each section, reference notes, tables, and charts. If you're interested, you'll find them linked under the video. And the topic of today's lecture is the global world, 2050-2075, investment, technology, and geopolitics in the age of fragmentation. The first section is titled The Decline of the Old Global Model. Since the end of the Cold War, the world developed within a unipolar framework dominated by the USA and its allies. However, by the 2020s, this model began to collapse rapidly, as regional powers such as China, India, Turkey, and Iran began to rise. This is deglobalization, a return to protectionism, localization of production, and control over supply chains. As a result, we are witnessing a crisis of international institutions, a weakening of the UN, WTO, IMF, and a strengthening of bilateral alliances. In these new global dynamics, Ukraine is acquiring a new role as the foundation of a new Eastern European architecture. Russia's war against Ukraine since 2022 has become the catalyst for the reconfiguration of Eastern Europe. Ukraine, Poland, and Moldova are shaping the core of a new pro-American bloc, effectively forming the Eastern showcase of the West as a military, economic, and political alternative to old Europe. Ukraine's strategic role lies in becoming both a buffer and a future logistical hub between the EU and the Black Sea region. Under the aegis of the US and NATO, the region is undergoing major infrastructure and defense rearmament. Russia's prospects. Russia is entering a challenging historical phase, one of weakening and potential fragmentation. Despite its vast natural resources, the country faces mounting international pressure. Sanctions and technological isolation severely restrict its ability to modernize the economy. Russia is losing access to cutting-edge technologies, foreign investment, and global markets, deepening economic stagnation. At the same time, internal tensions are growing, ethnic and regional disparities, economic inequality, and conflicts between the central government and local elites undermine national stability. The risk of territorial fragmentation becomes more pronounced, particularly if central authority weakens. On the geopolitical front, Russia is inevitably shifting its focus toward China and the BRICS countries. However, this realignment is likely to occur from a subordinate position. Economic dependence and limited influence will diminish Russia's autonomy on the global stage. And what about China? We now see China as the West's technological rival. China remains the most significant strategic challenge to the United States. A broad technological blockade has been launched against it, involving chips, artificial intelligence, and equipment. Taiwan, India, and the South China Sea are points of tension and potential conflict. China is attempting to build a parallel technological ecosystem and financial architecture, but faces barriers of quality and trust. Another critical process is the West's hegemony through technology and finance. The West is betting on leadership in critical technologies as the foundation of a new world order. artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and bioengineering. There is aggressive development of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, a means of strengthening control over financial flows. The green economy and climate agenda are becoming tools for redistributing global markets. So what does the global landscape look like in 2050-2075? We are witnessing the formation of new blocs, the Techno-West, the Eastern European Corridor, the Sino-Asian Bloc, a fragmented Global South. A two-speed global economy is emerging, with countries that have access to technology and resource-based peripheries. Food and energy security are gaining increasing importance. Now briefly about Bitcoin, myth, threat, or the asset of the future. Bitcoin is the most controversial asset of the 21st century. Its future lies between global recognition and total disappearance. Cons: no backing or guarantees, extreme volatility, susceptible to government bans, especially in the era of CBDCs, dependent on exchanges and digital infrastructure, vulnerable to regulation. Pros: limited issuance, 21 million, makes it comparable to digital gold. Demand grows as a means of escaping government control, institutional recognition, ETFs, corporate portfolios. Scenarios: growth of plus 300-500% if accepted as a global safe haven asset, a 30% probability. Stabilization with moderate regulation, target 30%. Collapse to zero due to rejection by major players and bans, target 40%. Let us not forget gold, the timeless safe haven. Gold is strengthening its position in a world of political and monetary instability, persistent and growing demand from central banks, China, Turkey, Russia. A shift away from the US dollar in global trade enhances gold's role. A low systemic risk asset, sought after in times of conflict and crisis. Forecast: so 100-200% growth over 30 years under the base scenario, higher in case of systemic shocks. And what about real estate and hydrocarbons? These assets stand at a crossroads. Real estate: prices are rising in megacities and IT hubs, London, Singapore, New York, due to capital concentration and elite migration. Regional real estate is being reassessed. Some cities may lose appeal due to climate and demographics. Residential and commercial properties will remain defensive assets. Forecast: while 150-250% in prime locations, so 40-70% in other segments. Hydrocarbons: despite the green agenda, demand for oil and gas will persist due to industrial and transport inertia. Geopolitical premiums, wars, sanctions, logistics will continue to support prices. Forecast: plus 50-120% over 30 years, especially with constrained supply. Investment probability model: 2050-2075, gold 70-85%, real estate 60-75%, hydrocarbons 55-70%, Bitcoin 30% growth, 40% decline US big tech, 70-90% green energy and lithium, 60-100%. Conclusion: the world of the future is a system of conflicting techno-blocks, digital currencies, energy alliances, and unstable markets. Victory belongs to those who control knowledge, technology, and trust. Investment becomes a form of geopolitics. The most resilient assets are gold, as an apolitical safe haven; real estate, as protection against inflation and scarcity; technology and resources, as the core of the new world. Bitcoin remains an open question, caught between freedom and disappearance. Thank you for your attention. Feel free to ask questions. I hope this was insightful. Until next time, good luck.
Фундація Ігоря Кушнарьова. Ми віримо в добро.